All right, guys, how's it going? So I've been to the cafe this morning and I have reviewed today's Spanish football dailies for you. Marca, AS and Sport. Someone left a comment on here the other day saying it's not AS, it's pronounced ACE. I know how to pronounce the name, but if you actually say the Spanish pronunciation of it, it can sound like AS. And if I say that word too many times, believe it or not, YouTube can hold your video until they check what's in the video. So I refer to it as AS on here. I'm sure everybody knows which publication I'm talking about. So yeah, I went to the cafe. I had 3 coffees, thanks to you guys that support me. I didn't have a bocadillo today. I fucking didn't. But no, I went to the cafe and checked everything out for you. Now, for those of you that are on limited time, I can tell you there's nothing in today's Spanish print media about Trent Alexander-Arnold and Real Madrid. Yesterday, there was, but it was nothing to do with, sorry, I need to be specific. It wasn't to do with Trent Alexander-Arnold and Real Madrid yesterday. It was just to do with Trent Alexander-Arnold scoring in the game against Accrington Stanley. And basically, his picture was used in, I think it was Marca and AS. And basically, those 2 newspapers went with forgiven. Trent Alexander-Arnold forgiven because of his performance in that game, which is interesting. The last few days, they've not said anything about Trent. It's gone very quiet. When I say anything about Trent, I mean in terms of Real Madrid and that situation, okay? So there's nothing in today's papers to do with Trent, but we will talk about what's happened with Real Madrid and their right-back situation, which obviously is relevant, but if you haven't got time, you know what I mean? Anyway, so, yeah, I didn't do a review of the Spanish newspapers yesterday. I had a chill day, do you know what I mean? But I did review them. I did, even though I was just chilled at home, I checked them for you. So if you don't see a video pop up, just think, this obviously don't need to tell us anything, do you know what I mean? If I'm not around, I'm usually just having a chill day or I'm unwell or something like that. But even so, even if I was unwell, I'd pop up to tell you something if there was something major. All right, guys. So let's get into today's coverage, see what they've got to say. So, okay, so both Marca and AS wrote yesterday that Trent Alexander-Arnold had been forgiven due to his goal against Accrington Stanley on Saturday. Martin Zubimendi's Real Sociedad are in action against Villarreal this evening. Real Sociedad travelled to Valencia on Sunday. A couple of my mates were going to go to that game. Because I thought it'd be a good idea to go and see, Zubimendi and Mamardashvili, obviously the goalkeeper that's coming in from Valencia. But David Villa's Benidorm, I've just uploaded a video prior to this one about David Villa's Benidorm. They're second bottom in their league, and they have a massive game on Sunday against a team that's 4th from bottom. We were going to go to that at noon, and then we were going to drive up to Valencia for the evening game, but the Benidorm kickoff time's changed. So that's now a no-go, basically. Benidorm now play at 7:30 on Sunday evening, and Valencia's game is at 9. So I'm really gutted about that. I'd like to have gone to that game for you. So yeah, anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Zubimendi's Real Sociedad in action this evening. I keep a close eye on Real Sociedad, to be honest with you, and Valencia, because of the reasons I've just given you, like Zubimendi and Mamardashvili, Anyway, so let's put that to one side. Real Madrid, they lost their Supercopa de España game last night, the Spanish Super Cup, 5-2 to Barcelona. I watched the game. It was fucking great, man. Honestly, what a game it was last night. When I was a young lad growing up, I was never really interested when people spoke about Real Madrid play Barcelona, like the grown-ups would be like, oh, it's the El Clasico tonight, blah, 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 El Clasico. We should watch that, and I used to be like, I'm only interested in Liverpool. Like, I don't care about any other fucking leagues or anything. But as I've grown older, you do sort of appreciate things a little bit more. Well, I don't know if that's the right term, actually. I mean, you do have a bit more of an interest, probably because you learn more about these clubs from players that maybe leave Liverpool to go and play for them, and you're like, what's the big deal? As you're growing up. So yeah, I like to keep an eye on the big fixtures, and I did watch it last night, and it was fucking great, man, honestly. But when I was watching the game, I was like, oh my god, where does this leave Real Madrid now in terms of that right back spot? Will the press mention it today? And stuff like that, and they did. Well, kind of. So yeah, let's skip into it. Marca right. It was a super defeat because what was experienced in Jeddah, because the game was played out there, ended up being a double capitulation as Real Madrid lost the game twice against an insultingly superior Barcelona. To start with, they lost the first match, which was played 11 against 11 for 56 minutes, in an unappealable, forceful, and at times even embarrassing way. 5-1 in a result that fell short of the merits of both sides, with a feeling of absolute tactical, technical, and mental fragility of the Whites. Their enormous deficiencies began with the defence with two players who are not really players and who are once again singled out, right? And the two players are Lucas Vazquez and Tchouaméni. So, right, what they're basically saying here about how they lost the game twice is because they had Barcelona had a player sent off. So what the press are saying here is Real Madrid lost when it was 11 men and lost when it was 10 men. Yeah, does that make sense? Anyway, the important bit here is they do single out Vazquez, who played at right back, okay, and Tchouaméni, who's obviously a player that is linked with Liverpool here and there. He was our primary transfer target at one time. And the Spanish media seem to have it in a bit for him. The Madrid media, they're always saying he's not, Real Madrid standard. But Ancelotti likes him, and does stand by him or whatever. But Lucas Vazquez is the interesting point here because he played right back, criticism, singled out. Does that emphasise the need of a right back is what I'm trying to say here. And then the article goes on to talk about the other players that were pants as well. Criticism will be directed at Ancelotti, who once again made a mistake with his approach to Flick, but the attitude of his apathetic players bordered on non-attendance. While at Barca, everyone was pressing with hunger. At Madrid, they were defending with their eyes on each other and at a distance of 1 metre. They single out Vazquez and Tchouaméni, all right? And they do mention other players that they think deserve the coshing or whatever. But obviously the Vazquez is the interesting one there. Some of you might find it interesting, the Tchouaméni thing, because like if Real, could he become available for transfer? Because a lot of Liverpool fans like him. I see his name crop up a lot in the comment section, but that's not really my focus at the moment. I'm more interested in the right back position. So I don't know, is it inevitable that, Real Madrid will try again for Trent Alexander-Arnold this month? The general vibe around here or in this country is that at the moment, Liverpool won't negotiate, won't do anything. The press here, the journalists, the Madrid-based journalists, believe that Liverpool will sell Trent this month, but for a fee that Real Madrid are not willing to pay. It's claimed that Real Madrid will offer no more than 15 million euros, and it was Liverpool asking for 25 million. And Real won't do it. That's what they're saying. But that defeat last night was embarrassing. So now we have to see what happens in the league. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Real Madrid have dropped from top to second now, maybe because Atletico Madrid won or something like that. As I've said all along, really, or sorry, not all along, but the last few weeks, in terms of them coming back in for Trent in January, is it all about the results they get in January? If they have poor games in the league, especially, not just the league, but will that prompt them to up their offer, maybe come back? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. I'll pin a post. If you look now, if you scroll down, you'll see my question is there. So you can just look at the comments while you're listening to the rest of this video. He was asked, first of all, that's Marca's coverage gone, right? And now we're on to AS. And they touched on Carlo Ancelotti's post-match press conference. And obviously, in Marca, they singled out Vazquez and Tchouaméni for their performances. And Ancelotti was directly asked about them at the press conference. How would you define the match of Lucas and Tchouaméni? And he said, I don't want to single anyone out. They haven't defended well at the back, but the team was not compact. We have to defend better. In terms of Sport, which is the pro-Barcelona newspaper, that was absolutely dominated in the victory, as you can imagine. So they didn't fucking talk about anything else. It was just page after page after page about that win over their rivals. So that's it really, guys. I don't really have anything more for you. But, you know, I think what I would leave the video with is, you know, Real Madrid were embarrassed last night. And, you know, to be honest with you, going into the game, you know, I was listening to some of Ancelotti's comments and he was talking quite a bit about, well, you know, if we lose the game, if they win, and I was like, wow, that sounds quite negative going into, you know what I mean? Like, it just sounded a bit negative. It was, and it looked last night, like after the game, like a very worried man, to be honest with you. And it's not that they're abysmal, but you know, last night was fucking hell. I mean, what a game that was, guys, honestly. So anyway, I'll leave it with you. But yeah, what I'm trying to say here is that, you know, if there's this defensive issue all the time, they have to decide, and this is the general mood here, is Real Madrid have to decide whether to try and win the second half of the season with the, you know, youth players or backup players, or whether they need to strengthen now. And they need to strengthen now, to be honest with you. And the one position that they keep going on about is the right-back position. And, well, centre-back, right-back, but the absolute emphasis, 90% of the reporting is on the right-back spot. But what would Trent Alexander have done differently in that game? Because some people say he can't fucking defend. You know what I mean? So would an attack-minded right-back, full-back, whatever, last night, would it really have helped? Do you know what I mean? What do you think? Let me know your thoughts, guys. And did anyone watch the game? Oh, that was a good game. I enjoyed it. So yeah, leave it with you. All right. If you appreciate the video, please thumbs up the video. Please drop me a comment. Thanks to those of you that do use the super thanks thing, the love heart thing, because I do go to the cafe in the morning, and I love going to the cafe. It gets me out, and you know, I've got the Spanish workman and the Spanish owner of the cafe that, you know, that are mad football fans, and I can ask them, you know, translation things as well, because my Spanish is, you know, I'm not native, you know what I mean? But what I will say is I was listening to the cafe owner talk to another customer about the game last night, and I could probably understand 65-70% of what was being said. And it was just nice to sit there listening to them talk about, oh, fucking hell, did you see that game last night? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I do appreciate it. Now, I wouldn't be able to review the Spanish papers if it wasn't for you guys that support me. All right. So if you do appreciate the video, thumbs up the video, drop me a comment, let me know what you think. Do you think that Real Madrid will return this month? I mean, we have to see what they do with their other fixtures, and I don't have them to hand, but maybe I could quickly get them on the screen. Real Madrid fixtures. Let's have a look. What date are we on, guys? 13th of January. So they play Celta Vigo at home on Thursday of this week, which is a cup game, Copa del Rey. Then on Sunday, they are at home to Las Palmas in La Liga. 22nd Champions League game against Salzburg, RB Salzburg at home. And then they're away at Valladolid in the Liga. Another Champions League game. Yeah, so they've got, how many games they got there, did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games over the next couple of weeks. So yeah, February the 9th, Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid. Now that's going to be a massive game. Honestly, all right, maybe other leagues don't interest you. Like I say, when I was a young lad growing up, didn't interest me. But if you've got an interest in this situation, I mean, maybe, you know, anything could have happened by February 9th, who knows? But it'll certainly be of interest to me. Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid, top of the table clash on February the 9th. Might be worth a look at that, guys. All right, cheers. Speak to you in a bit.